Welcome to Let's Talk About It. Here we go!
Looks like you already have.
I need guns. Alrighty guys, welcome back to another new episode of Let's Talk About It. We go about everything going on in the entertainment world. That's movies, TVs, video games, and all sorts of other stuff going on in that world. Before we start, please make sure you press the subscribe button and turn on that little bell notification to get updated when all these episodes come out. And we also do other stuff like TV show reactions and movie reactions, movie out of the theater reviews, and just reviews in general, video game playthroughs, and trailer reactions as well. And we got quite a few topics today, most of them involving Marvel. So I'm excited to talk about these topics. I'm excited. I am excited. And we got about 4 topics here today. So let's jump into them right now. The first sort of starting off is with this. Thunderbolts has been one of the most critically successful Marvel movies in the longest time. Of course, people are like, oh, what about Deadpool and Wolverine? Yeah, but Deadpool and Wolverine wasn't really, MCU adjacent. I kind of saw it, it's kind of, the multiverse movie, and it was finishing off, a story started by another studio. So I think Thunderbolts was the best movie, in my opinion, since Guardians of the Galaxy 3. But that still, had its major problems as well, with it, with also it, becoming a time when Marvel wasn't as strong as well. And according to a new article from Bob Iger saying, that this is the start of something new. According to him, Disney CEO Bob Iger says Thunderbolts is the first and best example of Marvel Studios' new movie strategy. Now, you might be wondering, oh, why now? Why now? Well, let's remember, Bob Iger left soon after, Endgame and Far From Home were coming out, and that's when Marvel was at its peak. But now after that, what happened was Bob Chapek took over and had the mandate of produce quantity over quality. A phrase that I find myself saying way too much talking about Marvel. And the problem with that was, that Kevin Feige got stretched so thin. He was doing so many projects. He was doing movies, trying to please Disney by trying to put out more content on their streaming service, Disney Plus. And he also lost all his power. And it's been hard, it's been really hard for Marvel. Marvel, as we can say, Marvel has lost its magic. And people always love to use the phrase, Marvel is back. And I believe they are back. I believe, they've had success in their last few projects. If that's to Daredevil, to Agatha, to Thunderbolts. Sure, Captain America Brave New World was a miss, but Thunderbolts was the first movie, I believe, finished and done under Kevin Feige getting his power back and Bob Iger being back in charge. And so this is what Bob Iger had to say on this issue. He said, "We all know that in our zeal to flood our streaming platform with more content, that we turn to all our creative engines, including Marvel, and had them produce a lot more. We also learned over time that quantity does not necessarily negate quality. And frankly, we've all admitted to ourselves that we lost a little focus by making too much, by consolidating a bit and having Marvel focus much more on their films. We believe that will result in better quality. I think the first and best example is Thunderbolts. I feel very good about it." Now, there's a little bit more to that article where it's saying, that they want Marvel to focus more on the movie side rather than the TV side. Listen, like I said before, I like the Disney Plus shows, but my biggest problem with the Disney Plus shows, even for Star Wars and Marvel, is that it has diluted cinematic franchises to franchises you can watch at home. And also, the Marvel stuff became like homework. Guys, I didn't even watch Echo. I watched the one Daredevil episode of Echo. Did not watch She-Hulk. binged that series because I couldn't just continue watching it because it was not good. I did not enjoy it. And to audiences, if you look at Doctor Strange and Multiverse of Madness, literally Kevin Feige says you do not need to see WandaVision to understand Doctor Strange 2. Excuse me? WandaVision was so important to go into Doctor Strange 2, personally for me, because you get to see stuff from Wanda's side before you go into the Doctor Strange side. It became too crowded. And we said it's becoming crowded in the MCU. We have said that. But I love this statement right here. We've also learned over time that quantity does not necessarily beget quality. Listen, you can make like 10 to 15 products a year. But that doesn't matter if, they're all sucky projects, because you create one bad project, a bad project, it's a trend, and people are going to start not tuning into your stuff. Now, Thunderbolts, I think, is a bit different, because first off, like I said before, I believe Thunderbolts was made under, Kevin Feige getting his power back, and Bob Iger coming back and taking over as CEO of Disney. And I love that they're addressing, like, hey, we had some bad stuff, and now we're trying to turn around. Thunderbolts is our first one, and another thing, I love that their focus is on their films. Yes, because the films are so important, because I feel more people are going to go see a Marvel movie than watch a TV show. Like Little Numbers with Daredevil, like nobody was watching Daredevil. Like only us like really diehard fans were watching Daredevil. It wasn't even breaking into the top 10 on Nielsen. Like, and if you put Daredevil into a movie and you like, oh, the audience already knows all the stuff that happened, you'll be like, who's Daredevil? Like what's he doing here? What's his story? Like, that's the problem I was told. TV, it's like there's too much stuff going on. Now, like, as a Marvel fan, I love watching the TV stuff. I'm someone who enjoyed Hawkeye. I enjoyed Falcon Winter Soldier. I loved Daredevil. I loved Ms. Marvel. I loved Loki. I love all the content they put on there. But to a regular audience member, it is too much homework. Audiences do not have the time to go watch a TV show about Hawkeye and then go into Thunderbolts. You're like, oh, she was in Hawkeye? Oh, I didn't watch that. I just didn't have the time. Like, that's a problem. So I love that their focus now is on the movies, because that is what's important. Movies is what made Marvel good in the first place. Trust me, I think if you have smaller characters on TV shows, that can work, but you can't be connecting the TV shows to the movies. We've seen it. It does not work. It is not working for them, so they got to shift things up a little. But guys, what do you think about these comments from Bob Iger saying Thunderbolts is the first new Marvel movie to be a new example of what Marvel movies should be? Leave comments down below, and let's move on to our second topic here today. And that is this. We're gonna shift over from Disney over to Warner Brothers, as today, the first official title and the reveal of that production has started for the next Godzilla X Kong movie, and I'm a bit mixed on it. According to comicmovie.com, Godzilla X Kong Supernova, first teaser for next MonsterVerse movie, released as production gets underway. Now, I did not react to this teaser. I watched it. It's just a little, like, it shifts over to a computer and it says, like, I think Titan incoming. And so, like, it's like, okay, that's it. And it says Godzilla X Kong Supernova now in production. This is a stupid title. Like, but it makes sense because the Godzilla X Kong franchise is a stupid franchise. like, don't get me wrong. I enjoy the movies. I enjoy these movies, but they're not going to win any Oscars for Best Picture. These are good popcorn flick movies. Good popcorn flick monster movies. That's what I'm looking for. I do think this title, like, I thought The New Empire was a stupid title. And then I hear Supernova, I'm like, what the hell does that mean? Like, what is they're gonna launch Godzilla and torpedo into space, he's go, bah, and all the way to the moon, and then they're gonna like, oh, we're gonna catapult Kong, we're gonna throw him to the moon, and they're gonna go pow at each other, and they're gonna fight in space. Like, still, like, I don't know, like, maybe it has to do something with Space Godzilla. I don't know. I'm not the Godzilla expert, but hey, this is a franchise people love. The last Godzilla X Kong movie grossed about $550 million worldwide. Tell me, What movies have done that recently? 550 million worldwide. Did Snow White do that? No. Did Captain America, Brave New World do that? No. See, because people go see these movies not because they love them, it's because they just want a fun time at the theaters, and that's what these movies are. Even if, sometimes you just have to see a big-ass gorilla suplex another big-ass gorilla, if you know what I'm saying. But also, this has a very good cast as well. We have the lead, apparently, in this movie is Caitlin Dever, who is currently playing Abby on The Last of Us. I absolutely love her. I love her more in Booksmart. Like, she's so good in Booksmart. Oh, my God. And then you also have actors like Dan Stevens, who played a character in the last movie, to Matthew Mundi, who, of course, Stranger Things fame, and then also Sam Neill as well, from Mr. Jurassic Park himself. But yeah, guys, we got a new title for this. I'm excited. We'll see what it's all about. We'll go see if they're gonna go suplex the moon or something. Like, who knows what's gonna happen in this movie? Like, who knows? Like, I'm gonna go in this just expecting a good ass time. But what do you think about this? Godzilla X Kong Supernova is now in production, and we got our first title card for the film. Leave your comments down below, and let's move on to our third topic here today. Now, this topic, it does talk about, a topic that we're going to talk about after this, but it's some new news on X-Men. And, of course, you guys probably have heard about Jake Schreier and all that, but this is a little bit different as well. According to comicmovie.com, X-Men, with Thunderbolts Director Jake Schreier set to helm, a new name is in the mix to play Jubilee. And this is, I believe, I think it's Jeff Snyder who's reporting this. So the actress for Jubilee that they have now, somewhat been teasing, is a young actress named Trinity Bliss, who, of course, was in Avatar: The Way of Water, and that's really it. And hey, it's a new casting for Jubilee, so we've got a lot of rumor castings going on. We've had Harris Dickinson for Cyclops. We've had Margaret Crawley in there, which I love Margaret Crawley. We've had who else do we have in here? Hunter Schafer from Mystique, Javier Bardem, Ayo Edebiri. The rumors, we're gonna keep getting rumors for this until they announce the cast. Honestly, still my thing is oh, can we just do the original 5? Cyclops, Jean Grey, Iceman, Angel, and Beast. Start off with those. But it seems like they want to go with more of the X-Men 97 roster, which I'm okay with. I like that roster. I enjoy that show. But, we just, it's going to be a while, guys. I'm just saying this. It is going to be a while. Who knows? Maybe this summer, in July at Comic-Con, Kevin Feige gets up on stage. We have something exciting to announce. X-Men. Here's your cast. That, they could literally do something like that, and people will go crazy. But, do I know anything about this Trinity Bliss girl? No, I don't. I really don't. All I know is she was in Avatar: The Way of Water. I'm guessing she was the main Na'vi girl in that. But that's about all I kind of know right now. But this movie is not coming out until after Secret War. So 2028, 2029, even 2030 could be the release date of this Hunger Games. Not Hunger Games. Sorry. X-Men movie. Sorry, sorry. Michael Leslie, who wrote Hunger Games, The Ballad of Songbird 6, is writing the movie. So that's why I was I was thinking Hunger Games in that moment. But, they're saying also there is a 10-year plan, which, of course, that's a phrase every studio uses. Don't worry, we have a 10-year plan. We have a 10-year plan for everything. Oh, we have this. Oh, we're going to get there one day. We're going to get there one day. I'm okay. When they say that, it's just we kind of just saying, okay, we're working on it. That's all we kind of know. But, guys, what do you think? A new actress in the running for Jubilee, and she's very unknown. And with that out of the way, let's move on to our final topic here today. Now, this is the big one. X-Men, like we were just talking about. We've been wondering who is going to take the helm to be in charge for X-Men. We've heard reports of Barry Jenkins, which I'm still very much on the Barry Jenkins, part of directing X-Men. We've heard the Russo brothers. But now, according to one of the bigger news outlets, Deadline, we have possibly our director for X-Men. According to Deadline, X-Men movie at Marvel Studios circling Thunderbolts director Jake Schreier to assemble new team. Now, there's a lot of people going around saying like, "Oh, he's directing the movie." It says here it's saying they're in talks. They're in talks. It's not confirmed. And I am honestly a bit mixed on it. Listen, I think he would be a very, very good choice for X-Men. To see how he handled the ensemble in Thunderbolts, aka New Avengers, I think he's one of the guys you have to put on the list. The other part of me is like, listen, I love what he did with Thunderbolts / New Avengers. I want him to do more there. And then, like, I feel like if he does X-Men, he can't. But, this is interesting. Like, because, Jake Schreier is very, I think, one of those new guys at Marvel. He's a guy that they want to work with. He worked on Skeleton Crew. He did Thunderbolts. And, he was also part of one of the shows that swept the Emmys, like about 2 years ago, in Beef. And then he also, his last movie, I believe before Thunderbolts I watched, was his movie Paper Towns, which I thought was a really good little romantic movie. I enjoyed that movie. So I'm very much a fan of this guy. Also, this guy is very awkward. And I think, the awkwardness that he kind of presents is like kind of what you need to bring to X-Men, because X-Men is a very big franchise. I think besides Spider-Man, Superman, and Batman, everyone knows X-Men. And I think, you bring him, it's like, listen, Jake, we want you to do X-Men. It's like, okay, like, what? Like, you can do X-Men for the next 10 to 15 years. Like, you can do nothing but X-Men. And, like, for him to be the shepherd of this project, it's going to take a lot of his time. And the question is, does he want to do that? Does Jake Schreier want to not go make his own films? And he's going to focus on mainly doing Marvel? Like, listen, that's what the Russo brothers kind of did for their years there. They started with Captain America, went to Avengers, and then, like, they kind of did their own stuff. Really didn't work, but, this guy, I think in my opinion, I look at Jake Schreier not as the next, like, guy who could be, like, the replacement for the Russo brothers. I see him as the next James Gunn, not just because it's not his style, it's just, like how well he was able to make us attach to the characters that most of the audience didn't know. And I feel like, hey, there's a lot of obscure X-Men out there, in those X-Men movies. I don't think the general audience, they never got attached to Cyclops. They never really got attached to Iceman. We never really saw Angel. I think you have this guy, like, being able to do what he did with Thunderbolts, create, like, a story centering around, maybe 5 to 6, even 7 X-Men characters, kind of at that starting line, and, like, be like, hey, there's this team of mutants, who are living in a world who hate them, and, like, they have to save the world, but they don't understand why they have to save people, even if, the world hates them. So I think you can do really some cool stuff here. And I think Jake Schreier's the guy to do that. Listen, going to Thunderbolts, I did not expect for me to cry. I cried. The hug made me cry. So all I have to say is, that this guy knows how to write characters. He knows how to tell a story, and he knows how to show emotions, and he knows how to get us to care about characters even more. Like, going into Thunderbolts, I was kind of interested in John Walker. John Walker is now one of my favorite Marvel characters today. Now, he made me love that character. He made me love, Ghost. He made me like Bucky. Like, Bucky, I was never the biggest fan of Bucky. I thought it was cool, but I felt like there was nothing else left for Bucky to do in the MCU. Well, when he does Thunderbolts, I'm like, yeah, Bucky's still there. And the scene with Bucky coming in on his motorcycle is, I have to say, one of the best entrances in a MCU movie to date. But guys, what do you think about this? Jake Schreier apparently will be helming the newest X-Men movie over at Marvel Studios. Leave your comments down below, like, comment, subscribe on your thoughts on this and the rest of the topics we shared today on this video. And for all that out of the way, guys, thank you so much for watching.